My apologies for the long pause between videos, but as you know, I always wait on the Most High to give me understanding as to what I am seeing before I put a video out there. That being said, let's jump right in. As you know, on February 19th, 2020, an up-and-coming rapper by the name of Pop Smoke was murdered after being shot twice during a home invasion robbery in Hollywood Hills, California.
Pop Smoke was known by some of the biggest names in the business, like Nicki Minaj and 50 Cent. His murder has stunned fans everywhere.
Everybody's talking about it. Police say suspects broke into his home and shot him. The home is on Hercules Drive in the Hollywood Hills.
The date, February 19th, or 219, gives us the number 216 when the 9 is inverted. The number 216 is connected to the number of the beast, 666, since 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. We've seen this number used before when Lil Wayne showed the one-eye symbolism of the Antichrist and the number 216 in his video Drop the World at 621. Pop Smoke's trademark braids resemble the horns of a ram or devil horns. This connects him to the horn god Cernunnos, and we'll get to that fact in a moment. But first, let me show you how this connects Pop Smoke to the Super Bowl commercial, which featured Bunchy Young. Remember the scene when they showed the two construction workers, with one wearing a hard hat with lightning on it, and the other wearing the ram horns? Remember I told you that the word for lightning in Hebrew is Barak, and the ram's horns represent Barak as the horned god, Satan. Interestingly enough, Pop Smoke's middle name is Baraka, a reference to Barack. Therefore, Baraka with the braids made to look like ram's horns again represents Barack Obama as the horned god, Satan. Now for its connection to Cernunnos. Cernunnos is the false god that CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research that operates the Large Hadron Collider, was named after. You will notice that they hide the number 666 in their logo. CERN is using the LHC in order to open portals to other dimensions. What they are actually trying to do is find the key which opens the bottomless pit, which is described in Revelation chapter 9, verses 1 through 11. CERN also has a statue of Shiva, the Destroyer, on display at their campus. You will remember Obama posed on the cover of Newsweek as Shiva, the Destroyer, with the title God of All Things beneath him. Claiming to be the God of all things makes him the GOAT, which is a reference to Satan. It should also be mentioned that Shiva the Destroyer is the same as Abaddon or Apollyon the Destroyer, found in Revelation chapter 9, verse 11. This connects back to The Dark Knight Rises, Kanye West's Jesus is King album, Rotten Crater, and the angel with the key to the bottomless pit, who opens the pit and releases the king of the pit, along with the legions of demons that follow him. Pop Smoke was said to be one of the most promising voices from the New York drill scene, a regional variant of a hard-edged gothic sound that originated in Chicago. His name, Baraka, and this connection to Chicago connects him to Barack Obama once again. He was signed to record labels Republic Records and Victor. A republic is a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, and which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch. The name Victor means a person who defeats an enemy or opponent in a battle, game, or other competition. In other words, to win the victory over the republic would be to overthrow the republic and replace it with a monarchy. This is a reference to the coming satanic kingdom of the New World Order and the crowning of the Antichrist, which directly relates to the coronavirus. But we'll get to that in a moment. The word victory also connects to another rapper who was slain in California, Nipsey Hussle, in his album Victory Lap. This also connects to Barack Obama's speech in Germany at Victory Tower with the angel holding the victory wreath.
Well, there have been extraordinary scenes in Berlin tonight as thousands of people gathered to hear Barack Obama deliver key foreign policy speech on his current European tour. The Democratic presidential hopeful laid out his vision for America's place in a new world order, saying he was speaking as a proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world.
Pop Smoke was murdered at a home in the 2000 block of Hercules Drive. The name of the street, Hercules, is a reference to the god of strength and heroes, Hercules, the son of Zeus. It should be noted that Hero or Horus, the sun god, and Hercules are one and the same. Pop Smoke has a song called Dior, and Dior means of Zeus. Hercules is Zeus's son, or in other words, Dior of Zeus. You will remember that Obama gave his acceptance speech at Mile High Stadium with the white horse above his head while standing in front of a replica of the altar of Zeus. Some notable celebrities made comments about Pop Smoke's death. Nicki Minaj, who we know dressed as the Whore of Babylon and was escorted by the Pope at the 54th Grammy Awards, tweeted, "The Bible says, jealousy is as cruel as the grave." This is a reference to the Song of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 6, which declares, "Set me as a seal upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm. For love is strong as death, jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame." Interestingly enough, it has just come to light that Nicki Minaj is married to a sex offender who was convicted of attempted rape. Nicki wearing the Medusa dress and being escorted by the Pope is fitting then, since Medusa was said to have been raped by Poseidon, the beast from the sea. It also connects to the Catholic Church and the multitude of sexual abuse cases in which children were raped by priests. We'll come back to the Pope and his connection to the fish god later. 50 Cent announced that he wants to finish Pop Smoke's album. Here you see 50 Cent kneeling before his God, Baphomet, during his acceptance of his star on the Walk of Fame, or blasphemy, in Hollywood. It was reported that 50 Cent plans to get help from Drake and Chris Brown with what will be Pop Smoke's posthumous album. We know that Drake represents the dragon or Satan. Drake is from Toronto, which is called the Six, a reference to 666.
This is where you, the six god, the six. So the six, yes, it's a Canada thing.
Drake also just recently released 2 songs called When to Say When and Chicago Freestyle. Notice the use of the devil horns and one-eyed symbolism, along with the Nike hat. Since Nike is the goddess of victory and is symbolized by the angel holding the victory wreath, this connects back to Obama's speech at Victory Tower. Ironically, the Spirit led me to find this tidbit of information hidden in the movie Mission Impossible and found inside of the Holy Bible is a reference to the Drake Hotel that just so happens to be in Chicago. Once again, connecting the dragon or Satan to Chicago and Barack Obama. Also, in the movie I, Robot, there's a scene where Will Smith flashes his badge at the camera, and it shows that he is a detective for the Chicago Police Department. His badge number is 4084D. The letter D is the fourth letter in the alphabet. Therefore, when the number is reversed, we are being shown the Antichrist number 4484, which is a reference to Obama, the 44th president, whose birthday is 8-4. We've discussed this number previously, as it was purposefully and conspicuously positioned in the background behind Micah Xavier Johnson, who ambushed and fired on police in Dallas. Also on the badge is the number 824, which is a reference to Kobe Bryant's jersey numbers 8 and 24. Chris Brown represents the Brown Christ, or the Brown Usurper, which connects back to Bruno Mars's performance of Locked Out of Heaven at the Super Bowl. It also connects to Jim Brown's cameo appearance in Bunchy Young's Super Bowl commercial as well. Remember, Jim Brown wore the number 44 in college, connecting him to Barack Obama. There is no coincidence then that all of these seemingly random pieces of information all connect directly back to Barack Obama, serving to point him out as the Antichrist. February 26, 2020, a brewery employee fatally shot 5 people at Milwaukee's Molson Coors campus before killing himself.
A short time ago, authorities revealing the identity of the man who went on a shooting rampage in the workplace at a brewery in Milwaukee, killing 5 of his fellow workers and then himself. ABC's Alex Perez tonight with what authorities just revealed.
Tonight, authorities in Milwaukee identifying the employee they say brutally murdered 5 of his fellow co-workers at Molson Coors as 51-year-old Anthony Farrell.
The date, February 26, or 26, gives us the number 46 and connects back to Obama, the false Messiah, reading Psalm 46, declaring himself to be God.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
We also know that Psalm 46 is the 666th chapter from the end of the Bible. The name Molson comes from Mary, Maul, and later Molly. Molson then means Mary's son, which is a reference to Yehoshua, the Messiah. Notice the child has a crown or corona around his head, which is symbolic of the Christ consciousness and divine enlightenment or illumination. Here you see Obama and his mother depicted as Mary and baby Jesus. The name Coors comes from Kurz, which means cross. Therefore, the name Molson Coors actually means Mary's son, a reference to Messiah who was crucified on the cross. It should be noted that Milwaukee's basketball team are the Bucks, a reference to the stag god, which connects back to the horn god Cernanos and Satan, whose spirit will indwell the Antichrist or false Messiah. 5 employees were fatally shot on February 26 at the brewery near 41st Street and State Street. The number 5 is representative of the pentagram and confirms that these deaths were in fact a satanic blood sacrifice ritual. There's also something interesting about the numbers 26 and 41 as it pertains to this story, because it connects back to Kobe Bryant. Notice Kobe's use of the one-eye symbolism and the 666 hand sign. Also, remember the cartoon that predicted Kobe would die in a helicopter?
It's Kobe Bryant! Help me!
Supposedly, the Black Mamba died in a helicopter crash on January 26th at the age of 41, and the Molson Coors shooting occurred on February 26th at 41st and State Street. Also, the number 26 can be expressed as 26 or the number 66. Why is this important? Because it is said that Baal is the leader of 66 legions of demons in hell. It also points back to Drake, the dragon, being the sixth god.
This is where the sixth god is,
It also connects to Nipsey Hussle, who is depicted as a false messiah and is a part of the rolling 60s. Remember I told you Pop Smoke had a song called Dior, which means of Zeus. Zeus, being the god of lightning, connects back to Barack. Interestingly enough, Nipsey Hussle had the name Dior tattooed on his neck. Nipsey also has God Will Rise tattooed over his eye.
I don't know what side. I think it's this side. It said God will rise.
While Pop Smoke has the word faith tattooed over his eye. The hidden message here is to have faith. God will rise. However, this is not speaking about the one true Messiah, for we know that he is already risen. This is a reference to the Antichrist, who survives a deadly head wound, the son of perdition, the beast that was and is not, and ascends from the bottomless pit. It should be noted that Marquette University is only 5 minutes away from the Molson Coors campus. Marquette is a Jesuit school, which is the Society of Jesus, a Roman Catholic secret society, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, let me tell you about another strange connection, a program on Vice called The Icebeard Surfers of Lake Superior. The show featured a man from Marquette, Michigan, named Surfer Dan, who is likened to the real Poseidon. This connects Marquette with the beast rising from the sea, and it also connects back to the Super Bowl commercial, which featured Jason Momoa, who plays Aquaman. Poseidon and Aquaman are both a reference to Dagon, the fish god, and the mitre hat, which is worn by the Pope. This connects back to Nicki Minaj wearing the Medusa dress, since Medusa was raped by Poseidon and being escorted by the Pope, who wears the mitre hat representing the fish god. The name Dan is a reference to the tribe of Dan, which is where the Antichrist is supposed to descend from, since Dan represents a serpent. This connects back to the 2019 Pepsi It's More Than Okay Super Bowl commercial.
Pepsi okay?
Remember I showed you the OK hand sign is actually the 666 hand sign. We also discussed the 3 upside down pyramids shown in this video, the sun symbolism on the wall, and the server whose name is Dan as a reference to the Antichrist from the tribe of Dan. Now on to Marquette being connected to the Jesuit order. The Society of Jesus is a religious order of the Catholic Church, which is headquartered in Rome. It is said that Adolf Hitler patterned the formation of his SS after the hierarchical structure of the Jesuit order. The Society of Jesus is a religious order of the Catholic Church headquartered in Rome. It was founded by Ignatius of Loyola in the year 1540. Interestingly enough, on February 15th, Jadakiss visited Chicago to do an interview about his new album called Ignatius, which directly connects to the Jesuit water. The name Ignatius means the fiery one and is a reference to Satan.
228. I got a new project, the Ignatius project, for my partner. He was like my partner.
Notice the date he's releasing Ignatius is 2/28, which gives us the number 48, or 84 when reversed, which is a reference to Obama's birthday. The city of Chicago connects to Obama as well. They are continually pointing us to Barack Obama as the false Messiah, which connects back to Kanye West's Jesus is King album, as they are not speaking of Yahushua. Instead, they are speaking of Zeus.
Hey Zeus, it's a friend of yours?
As fate would have it, Italy is the epicenter for the coronavirus outbreak in Europe right now. The global pandemic, which is the coronavirus, is meant to point us to the corona, or crowning, of the Antichrist and false prophet over the one world government, and the infectious evil that will overcome and cause all who are not covered by the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach to follow and worship the Antichrist. You may also recall the mass shooting that occurred at the congressional baseball game practice on June 14th, 2017. During the official game, which was played on June 15th, or 6/6, another reference to the number 26, the players kneeled around the Jesuit priest standing among them, and you can clearly see the numbers 666 on the players' jerseys. You will also notice the name Nova in the background. In the movie Alita, Battle Angel, which is about an apocalyptic war known as the Fall, a reference to Satan and his angels being cast out of heaven, we are told that Nova is the dragon who must be slain.
Nova? He is the dragon that must be slain.
This connects back to Revelation 12, 1-4, the dragon who stood ready to devour the man-child, and is a reference to Satan. Therefore, when you see the numbers 666 and a group of people kneeling around a Jesuit priest with the name Nova in the background, you can be sure that this is symbolic of the false prophet causing all to kneel down in worship of the Antichrist, 666, who receives his power and authority from Nova, the dragon. See Revelation 13:2, 13:4, and 13:16.
This will put a human face on it, okay? Tom Hanks just tweeted. He and his wife, Rita, are in Australia, okay? They don't feel great. They got tested. They have coronavirus.
The phrase, put a human face on it, means to make something more appealing. They are attempting to use Tom Hanks' celebrity to sell coronavirus to the public. The Simpsons showed an example of this.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks. The U.S. government has lost its credibility, so it's borrowing some of mine. This is Tom Hanks saying, if you're going to pick a government to trust, why not this one?
Hanks was also used to sell Barack Obama to the public as well.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks, and I want Barack Obama to be the next president of our country. As official celebrity, I know my endorsement has just made your mind up. 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 Made your mind up.
Not too long after this announcement, Tom Hanks' son put out a video speaking about his mother and father's condition. Notice the all-seeing eye in the middle of his chest with the letters WHO above it, a reference to the World Health Organization. He also has a tattoo of the caduceus, which is connected to the medical industry. A caduceus can also be seen sitting in the lap of Baphomet. In closing, these blasphemous celebrities are all servants of the devil, and when called upon to be part of these satanic rituals, which are all aimed at bringing forth the Antichrist, they have no other choice in the matter. Satan's servants must serve. However, as servants of the Most High, it is our job to resist evil, to expose evil, to rebuke evil. Amen. Shalom.